Morning. It's my
Are you
longtime
on
friend.
Instagram on the side?
Yes, I
Oh,
am.
you've been
Hey,
live this whole time?
yes, I have. I've been
Oh
live
my
this
Lord.
whole
I'm glad
time.
I didn't say anything personal.
Oh, well, they can't hear you. Only I can.
Oh, that's true.
The-
So now we
they'll-
are live. Hi,
yes.
everyone. Grand Rising. Would you like to say anything, Portia? Good
Yes, I
morning.
can. Every day is great that ends in Y. And we're done like
Ooh,
eggs in the skillet. There we go. Boom.
dude, you are so funny. So, welcome back to Chai Together. I am your host and founder, Portia Booker. You are tuning in for your cup of courage, hope, and imagination today. So, we use courage on this platform to showcase our stories. We use hope to overcome, and we use imagination to resonate and understand with the stories that are being shared. So, with that, I'd like to welcome my good friend, Miss Portia Booker.
Hello,
Ooh.
hello, everybody. Boom, 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 boom. Like I
It's a
said, you missed
vibe.
me. You missed me singing Tracy Chapman "Fast Car" earlier. I was on Instagram Live, so if anybody saw it, don't laugh at me.
Hey, you enjoying life? I just want to tell people you wake up at 4 a.m.
Yes, I do, because I have a fur baby, Mr. Fletcher, that has to go out for pee o'clock, and I don't want to get yelled at or snapped at. But you know what, Pratiba, that is literally my quiet hour. I
I
get
love
up,
that.
take him out, and then that's also my time for reflection on the day before.
Mm.
So I have a special notebook that's made out of leather, beautiful. You can
Ooh,
smell the leather the
you
minute
want
you
to show
open it.
us? You got it.
No,
I
it's
can
not in this
read.
room. I don't do it in this room. I have different places that I write in the
I
house
feel
for
you.
the creative juices, the
Mm,
quiet kind of like coolness in the house where it's not too hot or,
mm,
the dog barking at me, waiting for him to be petted or fed or whatever. But I
mm.
wake up at that time and do my daily reflection, my 5 points of gratitude, of course, I do them within the last 24 hours. So whatever I was
Wow.
grateful for in the last 24 hours, because I don't want to be that person who repeats stuff.
Mm.
So
Really
that
in the
that's how I
now
do.
moment. It's really in the now.
Oh yeah, because I lived so much in the past for the past, no pun intended, 5 years of being,
Mm.
struggling with my mental health and reliving all those traumas and reliving all the hurt, the damage. And I said, you know what, I want to make up for that lost time by really being present in the moment and present within every aspect of my life.
Gratitude really helps. But before we go on, I do want to tell the people about you.
Oh
So,
God.
Portia, you know what? We're not even going to say her name. She is a woman of her word, a person with integrity and an explorer of the world. She truly is. She is Portia Booker. Portia is another individual born and raised on the Mistake on the Lake, Cleveland, Ohio.
Hey, y'all know the joke.
She is a graduate of Can't Read, Can't Write, Can't Remember What You Did Last Night, Kent State University.
Yes.
What's her occupation, you ask? She is the host of talk radio program Groove with Portia, an hour-long dialogue for the curious mind. She's also the co-host for Not Alone in the Land podcast with
Yes.
NAMI. For those who don't know, NAMI is the National Allegiance for Mental Illness, right?
Yes.
Or is it Alliance?
Alliance. National
Alliance.
Alliance for
Thank
Mental
you.
Illness. That's all right. Allegiance,
I never,
Alliance.
I never remember a monthly mental health conversation in a rock and roll town. I've been a part of NAMI as well. It's definitely. So when Portia is not producing or hosting, you can find her taking photos, attending concerts, traveling, or playing with her dog, Mr. Fletcher. Portia is a firm believer in the phrase, every day is a great day that ends in Y.
Yes, it is.
Do you want to explain that? Hi, Sid. I will
Sure.
respond to you.
Sure. Good morning. Good morning, Sid. Thanks for tuning in. So, the phrase every day is great that ends in Y is pretty much self explanatory,
Mhm.
meaning every day gives you an opportunity to change your life. It gives you the opportunity to achieve a goal. Every day there is a hidden opportunity. You just have to be open to seeing it and open to finding it. So, that's how it's defined
Mm.
for me. It's true.
Why? But it's not because every day ends in a Y. That's not why, right?
It pretty much is.
It is.
It's in simple terms, yes. But it is.
I
Every
really like
day is
that.
a chance to make a change in your life or achieve a goal. Is how I look at it.
I like that. Do you want to share about with the viewers about your recent changes in life and how you took that brave step? You know.
Sure, I will. All right. So for those of you who don't know, I quit my corporate job. Yes, I did. I
Yay!
quit my
Fuck
corporate
yeah.
job. I'm saying it publicly for the first time, even though I've been gone from corporate for about a month or so. And, it took me a little while, Pratiba, to eventually take that leap of faith. And,
I know.
and I'll expound on that because we juggle with all the what ifs, right? Like, what if this doesn't work out? What if, I don't achieve this? Or what if I don't get this grant? What if I don't get this paycheck? All the what ifs. And sometimes you just have to tune those what ifs out and say, what's really the best route for me right now? What
Mhm.
fits for Portia that doesn't fit for everybody else? And that's what you have to really consider, excuse me, when you're taking a leap of faith like that. And so I said, you know what? I'm not really happy. Why do I want to continue to be one of those disgruntled employees at a position, at a job that's really not adding to my life? It's really subtracting. I mean,
Mhm.
because hence you can see my gray hair. I'm starting to look like Benjamin
Oh.
Franklin here or something, or but nothing that little hair dye can't do, right?
Oh.
and so
Um,
so I made the leap.
yeah.
And after I left my job, I went and took a trip to Tulsa, Oklahoma, where I used to live at. All my Tulsa
Mm.
Okie friends, hello to you if you're tuning in. And it was nice because this time during my trip to Tulsa, I managed to be in the present moment, like what we had mentioned in the beginning.
Yeah.
When I lived there the first time from 2016 to 2018, I was really living in the past because of all the past trauma, my TV job experience that didn't go the way that I planned it. So I was really stuck in those traumas instead of living in the present moment and taking in each day, as a new opportunity. And so when I went down there this time, I did just that. I even got closure on a few things that I never would have
Mm.
thought I would have gotten closure on. Like, I know this is kind of bold, but I went by my old TV job. Now, I didn't get out my car or anything. I just pulled up to the side of it because they have security cameras. All newsrooms do. They have security cameras all around the perimeter just in case you have some, weird, crazy fan or something.
Mm.
And I sat out there. I'm serious. You can
Yeah.
look all the
Yeah.
stories up and stuff, online. But I sat out there for maybe about 5-10 minutes, and I looked at the station. I saw where my old desk was, from the outside, and
Wow.
and I just said, Portia, I forgive you. I forgive
Wow.
you for being so hard on yourself during that time. I forgive you for, saying all those mean things to yourself, being too hard. And, when you went there to achieve or pursue a career that you thought was going to be your lifelong dream, but really in that nightmare approach of my TV career is when I really found my true passion, which is in mental health. So for me,
Wow.
as bad as it sounds, I found my true passion, my purpose in life through that terrible experience, per se. I wouldn't say terrible, but through that
Mm.
learning experience.
So, what do you want to do now in mental health?
I want to be a superhero.
Let's just
No, so
fly
okay.
away.
So for those of you who don't know, I am going back to school to pursue, my master's in becoming a
Yay.
mental health counselor, a therapist. So my dream is to eventually create a mental health wellness practice, and what I mean by
Mm.
that is all inclusive, meaning if there's people who are struggling with a particular area in their life, like trauma is big. We've all experienced some type of trauma from watching somebody get shot, not having food on the table in the house, coming from a single parent household. I mean, there's a slew of things that sometimes we debunk as not being as traumatic, but trauma is
Mhm.
unique to each one of us. For one person, okay, maybe not having food on the table was never an issue, but for somebody who comes from a low income household, single parent household, that is a big thing. And those traumas stick with you throughout your life. I had a therapist tell me that my anger and resentment towards my biological father has been following me my whole life. And I thought
Mm.
I almost needed a smoke break from that when she told me that. Because it was like you seen the picture so clear. Like, when you, after you take a shower and the steam is all over the mirror, and
Mm.
finally you go, whoop, 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 you clean it, and then it's crystal clear. That's exactly how it was, how I saw it eventually when she told me that. So it's the same thing, and that's what I want to be. I want to create that all-inclusive wellness space for people to heal, because I think a lot of times we learn to cope in the bad ways, but not so much to heal from what it was that happened to us.
Yes, the root of the issue.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that you said that we all have traumas, and this is going out to the people that I reached out to be on Chai Together who said, I don't have any trauma. Sweetie, that's not true.
No, it's
Let
not.
me just tell you that. Yes, you do. It's just maybe you're in denial or you don't want to talk about it in public, but you do. Whether it's your mom yelling at you in a grocery store, slapping you in a grocery store, not getting that toy or that candy that you wanted, that is a mild trauma. We all have traumas. And you know what I learned yesterday? I learned this, actually over lunch with my friend Andre, who works in domestic violence. And he was sharing with me regarding schizophrenia. We were talking about my mom. And he was sharing, did you know that we all have little bouts of schizophrenia, whether we're talking to ourselves or we smell something like something ambrosial that, let's say, your mom's like chicken pot pie that's not actually here, but you're smelling it. That's also like a hallucination, delusional aspect of schizo. So it's like we all have it, but we're not tuned into it. But it can always be triggered and get more severe. Like kind of like how we always may have cancer, within us, but it's dominant. I mean, it's dormant. So that's why, it's not active. But we always have that stuff inside of us in our human bodies.
Oh, yeah, hands down. I definitely agree with that, Pratibha. I mean, because when it comes to mental health, I mean, we've all exhibited some form of it, whether it was about a depression, anxiety. I mean, I can tell you from my experience, I was one of those people that got 3 different diagnoses: depression, anxiety, and bipolar. So it's like, which one is it? Do I pick the first one?
Right?
Do I pick the second or the third? The luck of the draw.
That's interesting. Yeah, like what's your because regarding my mom, it's like it's been like 3 different things. So it's like, what is it? Like, does anyone know how to decipher between the two? Because symptoms can be so similar. Like, does anyone actually know? Because there's such big gaps in the mental health system. It's to not have the proper care is such a traumatic thing in itself. So for you, like, what's that like? Are you like, okay, now I have this, or like, how do you go about that?
So first, I will say mental health in itself is complex, because it's not like when you go to visit a gastroenterologist and you tell them that you have maybe some type of ulcer. They do an EGD or colonoscopy and they can see it on the scan. Versus with mental health, you're going based on what the client or the patient is saying. And, like you said, they could just be exhibiting a little bit of schizophrenia at that time because maybe, they changed jobs. Okay, I'm going to use a simple example. And maybe they change jobs. They encounter a coworker who has a similar cologne or perfume of somebody who they were once traumatized by. So easily right there, just a simple scenario of like that can trigger somebody into anything. So, I mean, I always recommend people when they are changing jobs or changing careers to consult with a therapist, because you need that bridge time to really, ease into whether it's a job that you've had before, because sometimes we have a thing against going backwards, but sometimes you have to step a few steps back in order to move forward quicker because there's lessons that you haven't learned yet. And so for me, Pratibha, the way that I navigate now, like I do see a therapist now, but I'll be honest, I don't take medication. I don't, because I've learned how to really practice self-care for myself. And self-care looks different for everybody. For some people, it's, like what we were discussing before, getting their nails done, or, getting a massage.
Never nail polish.
That's all right. Don't worry about it. It's as little as, getting your nails done, getting a massage, or,
I
maybe
need that.
even just, taking a car ride, or, getting your hair done. Like I'm big on getting my hair done. But for me, self-care is a daily practice, whether it's just taking a drive in my car somewhere. I mean, I'm a roadie for real. I mean, I just, shout out to my sister. I just dropped her off in Athens, Ohio to go to OU, Ohio University. And I mean, I made the trip same day, 3.5 hours there, 3.5 hours back. So I'm big on getting in my car. That's why I always need a reliable vehicle. So,
Ooh.
so for me, self-care is a daily thing. But the thing that I've learned about self-care that I think a lot of people tend to have this false impression about is that it has to be these lavish luxury things. I mean, I hate to say it, but just taking a nap is self-care. I mean, I take naps sometimes throughout the day, 15, 20-minute power nap, have a quick little cup of coffee, and then keep it moving on my day, but but just those simple things. And you have to find what works for you. I know for me, I'm one of those very artistic people. So for me, whether it's writing, whether it's, editing podcasts, because see, I love editing. Out of doing my hosting, producing, and editing's my favorite because I get to listen back to what my guests are saying. And I listen to my shows all the time because my guests offer valuable life lessons that I use throughout my life, so that's why I do it. I'm a lifelong learner, and I'm always reading up on different mental health articles or listening to other different mental health podcasts and things. So I'm constantly keeping in the know of what people are doing as far as self-care, what is going on in the mental health world that is making a big impact as far as treatment, whether it's medication, whether it's, Reiki, acupuncture, whatever your, forte or pick of choice for treatment is. What's really working, what's not, how can I continue to spread awareness?
I really like everything that you said.
And you just want to hear me talk all day.
Yeah, I just want to tell people that I don't edit nothing. It is raw, it is pure, and fuck it, because I'm here for it. So
I hear it. Look, editing's tedious. I hate to say it, but I probably edit probably like 4 to 5 shows a weekend. I mean, from hour-long shows to 20, 30
Let's
minute
just
shows.
say that we don't have kids. Let's single women.
Hey, I have a fur baby. You can't discount the fur kid.
I got 5 plants.
Look, that's a thing. A plant mom.
For real, I have to buy stuff for the plants. Let me tell you, that adds up. So yeah, I just want to say, so I also know that, you do stuff for NAMI. So tell us about that, because I really like NAMI. It helped me.
Yes. So for those of you who don't know, I think it says it in her little ticker that I'm both the host of Grew with Portia and Not Alone in the Land podcast. I'm the co-host, and that is the podcast that I host with NAMI Greater Cleveland. So shout out to you guys at NAMI Greater Cleveland for, letting me have the opportunity to do the podcast with you. It is a monthly podcast where we discuss mental health topics. Right now, we are doing a series on demystifying therapy. So far we've covered EMDR therapy, TMS. So that's what we're doing as of right now to kind of paint that picture for people who are pursuing therapy. Maybe talk therapy doesn't work for them. Maybe Reiki doesn't work for them. Maybe acupuncture. So it gives people other alternatives to seek help for their mental health and kind of like demystify what it looks like for them. So
that's right. Yesterday I was speaking with the director regarding my mom for EMDR, but they don't offer the services in the location. And, I just like to get to the root of the issue because I've had EMDR through my friend Gunjani. She once did it for me when I was going through a transition at home. And it is for people who don't want to talk. And I know my mom doesn't like psychotherapy. So that's why, but I just don't know the research behind it. How great is it for patients with schizo and IAD? So I feel like I'm always learning thanks to my mom. I feel like that's a fortunate thing to look at it as like a gift. But, for me, like breath work has been a big lifesaver. I don't know if you've ever done breath work. Yeah. My friend Gunjani, she also offers breath work, and those have really been helpful more so on a consistent level for me. You waving to Instagram?
Yeah, look, I got to keep my followers engaged.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. Well, I want to know, how can I come on your podcast for NAMI?
Oh, of course not. I'm kidding. Yes, you can. Look, I got to meet you with a little bit of strife sometimes.
How can I yeah, like, so, did you reach out to NAMI to do that with them, or like, how did that work?
So how that happened, actually,
Mm.
it's been a year. It'll be a year in
Mm.
September that NAMI has been on Groove with Portia. So
Wow.
originally I reached out to NAMI to be a guest on Groove with Portia to talk about their NAMI walk.
Wow.
And what
Wow.
turned into a one episode ordeal, which I was, oh my God, I can still recall the interview because I was scared out of my wits. It was the first time that I had three guests instead of just two.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had three guests hosting at the time, and I'm like, okay, we'll get through it, we'll be fine. And so after that initial conversation, I pitched the idea of, hey, would you be interested in coming on my show monthly to cover
Mm.
a mental health topic that reaches a predominantly African American audience? So they were thrilled about it. So we started with just having them on monthly on Groove with Portia. Well, then I pitched the idea of, hey, let's try to reach a more broader audience by creating a podcast. Just think about it. Let me know your thoughts. I'd be down to co-host it with one of your staff and we can go from there. So, a few emails back and forth and, some name picks. And, the podcast officially launched in February of this year. So we did an
Woo!
introduction interview or introduction episode kind of detailing who we are, what we do, how we, came into the mental health field and, the goal for the podcast. So that's how that worked out. And I'm
Wow.
also participating in the NAMI Walk here in Greater Cleveland on September the 11th. So you'll probably see
Yeah.
me around, everybody, around like a donut.
Let's talk about your sayings and how
Sure.
there needs to be a book for them.
Oh my God, you're the second person that said that.
I already said it.
One of my former talent hosts that I used to manage for a podcast I was producing for it also said that to me. He's like, so when am I going to get a book of Portia sayings, Portia phrases? So I guess I'll give you the rundown of how I get my phrases. So I'm an even mixture, split both ways between my mother and my father. My mom has more of the serious sense of humor, and my dad has kind of like the corny dad joke sense of humor. Like, here, I'll give you a joke. What do you get when you cross a military tank with a t-shirt?
Milk tank.
That's what my brother guessed, but no, a tank top. So,
Oh.
so that's the kind of sense of humor that my father has, and then my mom has the more serious. And then I was also raised by my great grandmother, who was hilarious,
Woo!
out of this world. I miss her so much. I mean, if she would have been around today, she would have been, I believe, 100. She would have been 107 this year, I think. But she
Whoa.
died at 102. Yeah, Granny died
Wow.
at 102.
That's a full
Great.
life.
Oh yeah. Oh, she was a mess. She was a mess. But I get a lot of my sense of humor just from, people I meet, from, stories that I read. I read a lot. I go through 4 to 5 audiobooks a week, and I'm a
Yes.
deep thinker. I try to
Right.
always, make people laugh by just some random thing that I do.
Yes,
So,
you do. You make me laugh. So
okay,
right
okay.
now I'm on Boundaries by Dr. Rebecca Gray. I discovered her
Okay.
in 2020. You know of it, right?
I've heard of it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
haven't read it yet.
yeah, yeah. Um, I wanted to just, hear from her perspective, and it's aligning with where I'm at. So I feel like everything comes to you. I mean, it's just the right timing,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And what books are you on right now?
Oh, so I'm reading two right now.
Hmm.
The Harbinger by, I think his name is Christopher Kahn, and
Mm-hmm.
then On Writing by Stephen King.
Oh wow.
So those are the two I'm reading
Yeah.
right now.
On writing?
On writing, yeah, because he pretty much talks about the craft of writing, and I don't think he explains it in the way that people can like understand unless you're a storyteller yourself. He's very descriptive in his life, and the different trials that he went through from a kid to adulthood.
Mm,
So that's what I think he's trying to get the point across, is when you're writing, you have to consider your audience. You have to consider like what the point is of the writing. If you're
mm,
writing a storybook, you have to paint the picture for the person. It's different when you're excuse me, watching a movie, and you can see all the costumes, all
Yeah.
the makeup, the hair changes.
Yeah.
You have to actually put that into context for people.
Yeah.
She had, wavy hair like, Lake Erie, or, she had, I don't know, like brown hair, the color of, a Kit Kat bar, so you
Mhm.
have to paint that picture for people in order to see it.
Yeah, even I am learning this now with my collective. Like, I'm on my last step for it to describe, to the audience more of what it is. Cause I'm very to the point, I'm just like a yes or no person. So it's like, I know what I said when I mean this, but I have to describe it for other people that this is what it would include of, you have to write more and elaborate.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
gave my listeners a little heart. I
Oh.
love you guys. Thank you for all your support. Love you all. Yeah, you never made a heart like that before.
I do all the time.
Yeah.
Tell us more about you. Do you want to share, your, some things about your trauma, like detail, no detail, up to you.
Sure, I can share one thing. Actually, the conversation stemmed yesterday from my good friend Tasha.
Mm.
She told me that, you have to get out of the people pleasing mentality.
Oh yeah.
And I never really understood what that meant until I did. I always do a Google search just to see what Google is saying. And I'm reading through several different articles about, people pleasing, and
Mm.
the approach behind why people do it. It's a
Mm.
traumatic response, and I never knew that.
Wow.
And that's the unique thing about trauma, is you'll experience or exhibit, like what we talked about in the beginning, different symptoms or behaviors based on what you went through. And so I'm reading through it, and they call it fawning, I guess. Kind of
Mm.
like the fight or flight, but in this
Mhm.
instance, it's fawning, where you kind of like step back and appease everybody, kind of like putting out the fire.
Mhm.
Instead of like keeping a little one going, you put out the whole thing, even though you need to stay warm, but you want to appease everybody else who prefers it cold. So that's kind of like the well, I know I have to paint a picture so people can see
Yeah.
it, because that's what sometimes I often find when it comes to mental health. It's often hard for people to understand it unless they have a visual picture, and that's my way of painting it through, storytelling,
Yeah.
podcasting, that whole thing. And so, when we were talking about it yesterday, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little kind of mad about what my friend said, but then I said, you know what am I really mad about when she's right? Sometimes we get offended when people are right, instead of taking it and looking at it saying, is this really true? Instead of just completely debunking it, asking, is this really true? If
Mm.
it is, what am I going to do to correct it? What am I going to do to work towards being better, or, not exactly eradicating the behavior, because that's going to take years. You got to
Yeah.
take time. I mean, that's the thing with mental health. It takes time for you to heal. It takes time for you to get into that more positive mindset, and it took me a little bit of time. I mean, I told you I struggled. God, I would say the thing that broke me the most was
Mm.
my TV experience, because I
Mhm.
worked so damn hard to get, and I get emotional about it all the time, because I worked so hard to get there. When I got there, it wasn't the dream job that I envisioned. I got bored after 2 weeks. That's how my brain works. I just get bored like that. And I wasn't satisfied, because there was, to me, a contradiction as is what I learned in college to what is actually being exhibited in the actual job.
Mm.
And that was a conflict for me. I'm like, I learned one way, but then you're showing it in another way that goes totally against what we were taught. So I battled with that a long time. And then I just couldn't do it anymore. I worked overnights, 11 p.m. to 7 a.m., Sunday through Thursday. Only
Mm-mm.
had one day off. And, a lot of news people will tell you their shift determines their social life. And I've never been an overnight person. Now, I will say, when I was like in high school, I was a night owl. I was up all
Right.
night. But
We're
I mean, you figure
younger.
I'm up at the crack of dawn now. I'm up at 4:30 in the morning. Mostly, well, actually, I got up at 4 today. So, between 4 and 4:30, I'm up. and having my routine, but then I just couldn't do it anymore. So
Mm.
to make that decision to walk away from something that I worked hard to get, nobody helped me get that job. I
Mm.
actually applied for it as a joke. I'm not
Oh.
kidding. I applied to the job as a joke because I knew I wasn't going to get it. And then sure enough, the same day I applied, I got a phone call an hour later from the executive producer of the station. And I was like, oh shoot, this is real. Like and so to make that decision to walk away, it hurt me for a long time. I couldn't even, when I would pick up a pen, my hand would shake so bad. I could not even write for a few years, probably like 3 or 4 years. And just last year is when I finally found that deep rooted writer's block get unbroken, because for that time I just couldn't. I was so traumatized by what I went through. I hate to say it, but all the racism, all the sexism in the newsrooms. I mean, they're notorious for that. I hate to say it, but that's something that's not talked about in newsrooms. Sexism, racism, a lot of things that the general public would not think goes on in the newsroom does. I'm not going to expound too much on that, but I mean, you could tell, you can. And honestly, to me, that was the best thing to happen to me, was leaving that job, because I probably would have had a heart attack if I stayed there, because I was stressed out every day. I had lost, I want to say 40 pounds within
Oh
a
my.
month's time, something like that. 40 pounds within a month or 2
That's not
months
good for
time.
your heart. Losing weight that fast, I've learned it's not good for your heart.
Yeah, I was in probably a size like 8 or 9 pair of pants.
Yeah.
And and I was one of those people too. I come from a very proud family. I come from a strong line of women, and I wear that belt proudly. I do. I come from a damn good strong line of women. And from my great grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, I come from all of them. And you have to wear that belt of honor, that belt of perseverance through it all. And sometimes what I think, especially in Black culture, people don't realize that that's damaging. You can't keep pushing on with the Superman coat on or Superwoman coat on all the time, because what is that really doing to you? Internally. So, that's, so back to my whole TV experience though. I was happy that I left. It took me a little bit of time to, like I said, recuperate. But at the same time, that's when I found my passion, which is in mental health, which is, using my voice for more than one purpose, but for many. And it's so funny that I came across an email that I wrote back in 2011 with that signature in there. Use your voice for more than one person.
Wow.
Use your voice for more than one purpose for many. And it's true. I never thought of it until I came across that email. Like, holy crap, that's what I'm doing right now with my podcast and with
subconscious.
Portia's, So for me, it kind of rekindled that flame of where the path that I should have been on. But, even though we have to take a couple detours in life, right? We have to go through the school of hard knocks. We got to fall down the steps a few times, get back up, hit a few bumps there and scrapes, blood and guts.
I feel like my whole skin came off.
Yeah. You get a couple tattoos along the way. You know how it goes, piercings. Yeah. So I think for me, my TV experience was the beginning to a lifelong journey of understanding why, that deep understanding of why things are the way they are, why this happened to me, and what can I do to help other people overcome that, those barriers, those traumas through my experience.
Like Oprah and her, experience. That's how she started out. Look at her now. But one thing I did want to ask you is, when you applied to the job as a joke, because you already didn't have the, confidence that you would get it, and especially you being Black, right? That as well. And so when you did get it, do you feel like it didn't align because it's not even something that you took seriously from the beginning, that you didn't even believe you could have? And then Or do you feel like, even if that happened, even if it wasn't taken seriously, you got it, but then you realize I don't enjoy this. Like, it's not what you expected.
I would say when I applied to the job at the time, I was already kind of somewhat tired of my other job
Mm-hmm.
and, was around graduation time anyway. So I kind of needed to get off my butt and do something, get my big girl underwear on.
Oh
So I,
no.
I found, I found the job, believe it or not, I found it on Facebook. I don't know why, but
Holy
social media was like
cow.
my like golden ticket that year in 2016. I found a lot of opportunities in 2016, and I applied and I said, well, let me just see. I just said, what's the hurt? That's always my
Yeah, you got
catchphrase.
to
What
put
is the
yourself
hurt?
out there.
And so I applied. I sent over my resume. I think I sent over maybe a reel or two. God, I don't even know where they are now. And I probably look terrible, makeup smearing here, lipstick all the way down here like
Oh
Dracula.
no.
But no, I'm kidding. But I don't think they would allow me on air like that. But, I sent them a few things and I was surprised by how quick they got back to me, which to me, that probably should have been somewhat of a red flag
Yeah, that they
by
were
how quick.
desperate.
Yeah. And I didn't think about it at the time because I mean, you're young, it's your first like big girl, big boy job, whatever you want to call it. And you're excited. I mean, the station, I'll be honest, they flew me out there to do
Wow.
an in-person interviews, put me in a nice 5-star hotel with a mattress that you jumped in and you like sank
I've
all
done
the way
that.
through.
I have done that.
The shower in it was like a luxury apartment by how this hotel room was set up. It had a full kitchen, fridge, the shower had multiple jets. I mean, the
Wow.
water was piping hot. I can go on about all the
You're a
luxury.
great storyteller. I can visualize.
Yeah, and it was, a bricked in shower, so it's even warmer then,
Wow.
And they showed me around the city. They took me to dinner, lunch, and I was fascinated. They
Yeah.
had me sold for real. But then, once I took on the endeavor, it wasn't what I thought it was. And honestly, there were a couple red flags. I will say there were several, but when you're blindsided by all the, oh, this is new, this is
Mm-hmm.
cool, I'm in a brand new state, a brand new city, brand new job, brand new people, everything's brand new, even your own place. I
Mm-hmm.
had a townhouse that was impeccable. 2 rooms, a pool, a fireplace. I had it all. My townhouse was the bomb.com. And I miss just being able to like lay on my floor and look at the ceiling and enjoy the quiet. And I will say, since I worked in the mornings, at night, and I got off in the morning time, all the people in my apartment had like minimum 4 or 5 kids. So you figure when I'm getting off work
Oh no.
at 7 o'clock,
Oh
all
no.
the kids are, lined up at the bus stop getting ready for school. So I felt like one of those like old grouchy people, like, get off my grass,
Oh yeah.
because they're kids. They're running to the bus stop,
Yeah.
riding their little skateboards or hoverboards or bikes or whatever. And mom has 2 around her arm and 1 on her chest,
Oh no,
so.
no, no, no,
Oh
no.
yeah. So
Won't
I
be
mean,
me.
so I would say for me though, to back to your point though, the
Yeah.
job itself, I was excited from the get-go, but once I fully dive deep into it, I realized it wasn't something I could see myself doing long term.
Heck no.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. Talk about heartattackcity.com.
I like the names. I like the sayings.
What don't you? I mean, seriously though, Pratima, I gotta ask you
What?
too. I
Me?
yeah, I gotta ask you a question. The host
Yeah.
has to ask the other host a
Oh,
question.
really? Okay.
Of course. So when you started this platform, Chai
Yeah.
Together,
You're interviewing me.
yeah, why not, right? Host to host type of thing, kind of like
Go
coast to
ahead.
coast. When you started Chai Together, when you first had your first guest, how would you rate your you know where I'm going with this? How would you rate your first episode to now? Because I get that question a lot.
Honestly, that shit was a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. I ain't gonna lie, I have the confidence. I was just like this.
Hey, that works.
The
I'll
only
be honest.
difference is I had some questions written down. I was looking at my notebook on what to ask, like, because that's what I thought, you had to do. But my friend Kawan, actually, he's the first guest. And yeah, I had the confidence. It was a great interview. Everyone loved it. Got a lot of views. And then when I asked him, he said, no, free flow is better because, you take the conversation. Like, no one likes, okay, this question, 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, no, like, that's not fun. Like, I don't want to do that with people. Then I just started talking, and, I would still have questions written down and stuff, like, if I needed, but I just started talking free flow. And with all the practice, now it's going to be 1 year. I've been just free flowing. So.
Yay. Yeah, I'm just like you. When I started Grew with Portia in 2019, I had kind of like you the list of questions, because it had been a long time since I had done a radio show solo. Now I've been co-host on a few, like I was co-host on my first radio show, which is The Crib, The Twin Moves In. So shout out to my good friend Pearl to the Lean. Then the second show that I was co-host of, which eventually producer, was Code M Radio. And then Grew with Portia was, finally kind of like my solo attempt. And I will say I have come a long way to building up my win capacity, because I remember the first weekend that I recorded 2 episodes back to back.
Yes.
Man, I'm like, did I just shoot myself in the foot? Like,
I've done 4 back to back. Believe it. I've done 4 conversations when I was in Georgia back to back. When I booked on Calendly, I didn't leave room in between. I didn't realize people booked back to back. Woo, I was exhausted, but I loved it. Like,
that's one thing I always have done, is I booked an hour break in between. If I am doing
set that up.
multiple episodes or, multiple interviews, even if I'm guest hosting or, doing my own hosting, I do that break, because I'm like, I got to stretch. I got to sip me some tea. I need some honey, because these vocal cords is getting tired.
Oh, yeah. Now so it's 2-hour breaks in between.
Oh, yeah. Because you radiate so much energy, and people don't realize like how much time and energy you put into these interviews, because I do it the same way. Like, my guests, sometimes after I'm done 2 interviews in the morning, I take a nap, because I put in so much energy to
let them know
to the planning, the questions, and I do mostly organic question follow-up, unless there's specific questions I want to ask them, whether it's about their product, about their journey to entrepreneurship, or their mental health journey. If there's something specific that I don't want to forget, then I'll have it written down. But for the most part, no, I do all organic stuff.
You got something else to ask me?
I think that's all, ma'am. Or let's wait. What's the winning lottery numbers?
Dude, I don't play the lottery. I'm about the wealth life.
I feel it. I always ask people what the winning lottery numbers. You never know. Somebody might guess it
28, 23, 5, 9, 11. Ooh.
Okay. 23, 28, 5, 9, 11. Okay, y'all. So if y'all play it and y'all win, give us a little
hit up
something.
Portia. She got the money for you.
No, not Portia. But no, definitely, I thank you, Pratiba, for having me on.
Welcome.
I always love, coming on and being a guest on people's platforms, because sometimes you get so used to just being the host that sometimes you don't spread yourself out as far as like being versatile.
That's right.
I mean, hey, if you want to ask me, most people love to ask me about my tattoos, because I have 7. I had to think. Yeah, I know, because most people can't see them. Like, I have 2 on my wrist.
Oh,
kind of see
victory.
No, it actually says vicious and always. So always
vicious. Is that some red on there?
Yeah, it's flames. So it's kind of like Harry Potter.
This is my red.
Yeah, it's Harry Potter themed.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, it's both Harry Potter themed and the other kind of like hidden story behind both of these tattoos are both written after song names.
Wow. That's
So
you.
so Always, which is my family song,
Mm.
Always and Forever by Heatwave. Always and forever, each moment with you. So I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna stop. But
Why?
anyway,
I was like,
but
I was waiting for this.
we sing it at every birthday party almost
Mm.
because everybody signs that in their cards,
Wow.
always and forever, whoever. So that song has been a part of my family as long as I can remember.
Wow.
Then Vicious is a song by one of my favorite bands, Hailstorm, because the chorus says it. What doesn't kill me makes me vicious.
Mm.
And I'm a warrior in my past life. So
Mm. You
my
know these
tattoos
songs
are
I don't know.
all connected in some weird way. I hate to say it, but they
Wow.
are. They are.
Wow.
Is that all you got? Speechless, huh? Made you speechless.
No, I'm just thinking, I'm just like, wow, like, because, the songs that I think it's because of your family, those songs, because for me, I don't know those, classic, traditional songs.
Well, that song by Heat Wave, Always and Forever is old. I think it came out in like the
Yeah, like, I don't
70s,
know the
maybe.
music. Mm.
Yeah, by Heat Wave.
We
Look
grew
it
up
up.
listening to Lollipop. One time I had a friend, she said, she was singing Lollipop. I said, do you know what that means? She's like, yeah, lollipop. I was like, no.
No, not that type of lollipop, but
Oh my
that's for another day.
God.
I grew up in a household with mostly jazz, smooth jazz. Of course,
Oh.
some gospel when we used to go to church. But then when I was in like middle school, when Much Music Television used to come on, that's when I got into hard rock and heavy metal.
No, it was actually middle school we discovered lollipop and
Oh
bubble
boy.
gum.
Oh God.
50 Cent with all of that. When I first came to this country, I thought Eminem was 50 Cent and I thought 50 Cent was Eminem. I mixed them up.
That's pretty funny.
He white. I had no idea he was white.
Hey, you know what? It makes perfect sense. It's kind of like those weird oxymoronic or idioms that are, part of, American culture. Like one of my favorite sayings is beating around the bush.
Bed by Jay Holiday. Put you to bed. That was
yeah, I remember that.
Oh my God. Yes, I was like 16 years old.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Can't forget Lip Gloss by Little Mama.
Yeah.
Let me see, Laffy Taffy.
Yeah.
by D4. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I know when I was in high school, a lot of those songs were like popular. Like I think Pretty Ricky was.
Yeah,
popular.
we're the same age.
Yeah, I think so. Wait, I know that.
Yeah, you did. Are you older than me?
I think so. I'll be the big 3-0 this year.
Really? I thought you were 28.
Yeah, I'll be the big 3-0 this year, everybody. Whoop-de-dee, 35.
I thought you were 28, like me. Oh.
No, ma'am. I'll be the big 3-0.
Yo, Portia, I'm going to be 29 on January 4th. 29. What? Let me tell you, I just want to say this and then we could wrap it up. But I wanted to say, when I was out to lunch with my old college best friend and my dad on Saturday, and we knew each other since we were like 18, 19 years old, right? Mm-hmm. And now he already in his 30s. But me, I'm just like, I'm sitting there, I'm like, remember when we met when I was like 19? I was like, how do I look? Like,
how do I look?
I was like, do I look older? Like, he's like, yeah, you look a little older.
Like, what does that mean?
And I looked at him and I said, yeah, you too.
See, I can honestly say I haven't changed much as far as high school. I mean, like, I wear glasses. Yeah. But other than that, I still look the same. Like, my hair is a little salt and pepper, as you can see, but too. Other than that, like, I have not changed. I mean, I've lost some weight. I'm down almost 30 pounds because I've been
Wow,
on this
congrats.
new, thank you. I've been on this new autoimmune paleo diet
Yeah.
since April of this year, and
You
it's
work
been
out
working.
too?
Yes, I do. Here, I guess I'll show you the guns on their arms.
Oh,
There we
oh
go.
well, damn, Portia.
Oh,
Oh my god.
yeah.
Oh my god.
Because of military. My mom's ex-military, so of course she had to put us to work and give us her old sleep regimen, hence why I'm up at
Wow.
4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow. Wow. I love
Pratima,
it.
I will say, one of my things that I love to do for my birthday is a
Yeah.
week before my actual birth date, I do something new every day. Even though I celebrate all month long, I do. But the week before my birthday, I do something new that I've never done every day. So
Like that. I
like
think you may have
one
told me. Yeah.
yeah, one year I think I donated blood to the Red Cross. I think another
Wow.
time I actually bought 2 lottery tickets and won at the same time, which was then we went to Winterfest, which they host every year in Cleveland where they do the tree lighting. And they had one of those little like spin games where you spin the little like wheel and you win stuff. Well, I spent the first one and I got 4 tickets to the Lake Erie Monsters.
Wow.
Then I got another spin and hit another 4. So it's like,
It's your belief.
So that's what I love to do for my birthday is, do something new, because even if throughout the year I didn't get to do a quote unquote a lot, it still to me shows that I've grown some in the year is how I look at it.
Every day I feel like we growing.
We do, but not everybody notices it. Not everybody
that's true.
takes that into consideration. Like what we mentioned in the beginning, being in the present. A lot of us are kind of like stuck in the past a lot and not so much in the present moment enjoying it.
I think that's a good wrap up. Thank you for your time.
No problem, my dear.
You're watching.
Yes, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, Pratima.